So I spent the last week with Sony's fresh new Xperia 10 Mark III smartphone, the first Sony mid-ranger to come pack in 5G smart. You've also got some flexible camera tech and that same sleek and durable design as the more premium Mark III Xperias, which by the way are still floating around in some sort of smartphone ether right now, early summer my arse crack. And for 400 quid, the Xperia 10 Mark III is certainly an affordable alternative to the Xperia 1 and 5, and in many ways a strong rival to the OnePlus Nord, the Pixel 4a 5G, yada yada, but it also comes with some caveats if you do decide to take the plunge. So here's my full Sony Xperia 10 Mark III review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, including the best budget 5G phones right now, definitely please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So the Sony Xperia 10 Mark III is very comfortable to clutch and fiddle with, although thank God for the one-handed mode, which is absolutely essential if you want to reach up anywhere near the top half of that super tall display, unless you happen to have fingers like sodden E.T. The Xperia 10 Mark III's front end and the back end are clad in Gorilla Glass 6, and while the display is so far completely free of nicks, there is a light scratch on the back end of the Xperia 10 Mark III. Not really sure how that even happened. But apart from that, it's all good, and you do have IP68 water and dust resistance on this thing as well, so overall it's one pretty tough mother. I'd say on the Jason Stathamometer it's definitely worth at least 4 and a bit angry baldies out of 5. Beware, however, the usual fallacy of Sony smartphone design. Like most other Xperias out there, the Xperia 10 Mark III is slipperier than a seal slathered in lard. Is slipperier even a word? Well, it bloody well is now, because that took about a dozen takes just to get right. But basically what I'm saying is don't leave this blower on the arm of your sofa or any non-flat surface, because a tenor says it'll glide gleefully to the edge before hurling itself into oblivion. Now Sony fans will rejoice at the fact you've got all the usual bonus bits sticky taped here on top of Android 11, although as usual some are definitely more spooge worthy than others. Side tents can be a handy way of jumping into split screen mode with your favourite apps, and I recommend doing so on the regular, as that stretched display was absolutely made for multitasking. And this is also how you activate that one-handed mode as well, which as I mentioned before is kind of essential, like very essential. Customization is limited here, and there's no face unlock to back up the edge-mounted fingerprint sensor, although thankfully I had few issues with that. It only refused to work when my mitts were really damp. And any proper hardcore Sony fans with a PlayStation at home can get some PS Remote Play action on the go, and this works a charm as usual. As long as your home Wi-Fi is up to it, you'll enjoy a smooth, almost completely lag-free experience for enjoying console games everywhere in the homestead. This comes in quite handy when you're smashing on with something particularly terrifying like Resident Evil Village, because now you can do so on the toilet, thus preventing any accidental brown trouser action. Of course, Remote Play isn't recommended for online shooty, but it's fine for kicking back with some solo stuff, and god damn it, the tank in Mass Effect Legendary Edition still drives like a turd on wheels. As for other Android features, well, oh by the way, this here on the side of the Xperia 10 Mark III, that ain't a camera shutter button unfortunately, it's a Google Assistant button which can't be remapped. And it's just as completely pointless as always, considering there are so many other ways of calling up the Google Assistant. As for how many years of OS and security updates are guaranteed with the Xperia 10 Mark III, well, I'm not sure. I haven't had a definitive response from Sony on that very question. I've been chasing them up, but hopefully I'll get a reply and I'll be able to update that in the description below. And it is very disappointing that Sony continues to load its phones with crapware like Facebook without the quick option to uninstall them. It's kind of like buying a lovely fresh pair of new Nikes only to discover that there's already a load of dog shit smeared across the heel. You know, stuff like Facebook and LinkedIn, just having to mess around with debugging shenanigans to even get them off your smartphone is kind of bloody annoying. Better news on the storage tip though, because you've got 128 gigs of internal space here on the Xperia 10 Mark III, most of which is available for whatever your little precious heart desires, despite all of the shitty apps already crammed on there. And yes, there is micro SD support in that second SIM slot as well if you want to expand. Now one of the highlights of the Xperia 10 Mark III is that 6-inch OLED screen. The Full HD Plus 2520 by 1080 resolution, coupled with the not enormous stature of this panel, makes for crisp visuals, complete with full HDR action for natural colours and beautiful contrast when streaming supported content in services like Netflix. That 21:9 aspect ratio is perfect for cinematic fare, not quite so ideal for old school shows with some comedically massive pillar boxing. But as much as I did like this screen, I did stumble across a few little issues in my time. So for instance, you've got the video image optimization feature chucked away here in the settings, which is supposed to increase the immersion whenever you're watching a bit of video. However, I've got to say, I found that this mostly just warped the colors and made everything look sickeningly artificial, so I knocked that right the heck off. And the auto brightness is also less than stellar. Now, a lot of smartphones that rival the Xperia 10 Mark III, they tend to make things a little bit too dim at night, so you have to bump up the brightness manually. I had the opposite problem here with the Xperia 10 Mark III. I found that at night time it was still far too bright on that auto level, so I actually had to bump it right down. And also, whenever I was using the Xperia in the dark with the screen brightness turned right down, I did notice some screen jankiness as well. So for instance, anything with a black background, I would sort of notice some flickering going on, and also colors once again appeared really saturated. And I did try messing around with all the eye comfort modes and all that kind of stuff as well, and it didn't seem to make a difference. And also, while I'm on a massive whining spree, the refresh rate tops off at a miserly 60 Hz here. Why, Sony, when almost every rival phone, bar the Pixel 4a 5G, offers up 90 or even 120 Hz action? And I have noticed that the responsiveness of the screen is ever so slightly off as well. So normally apps will open up fine when you tap them, you have no problems with like tiny links or anything, but sometimes, for instance, when you're long pressing on the screen to move an app around, sometimes that will take a couple of attempts before it actually works. And the key to that seems to be a gentle touch often works better, which is something that I obviously as a cack-handed northerner do not have. And the Xperia 10 Mark III's mono speaker generally did the job just fine for watching a bit of video, although I did notice that the volume was weirdly low when using some apps such as Skype. No worries though, because Sony has once again generously served up a headphone jack here on the Xperia 10 Mark III, and the audio experience when using a pair of wide headphones, absolutely fantastic, full support for high-res audio, so streaming a bit of high-fidelity track action via the likes of Deezer, mwah, formidable. You've also got a good bit of LDAC action when you're streaming to supported Bluetooth headphones as well, and again, absolutely no issues there with the stability or the audio quality, absolutely fantastic once again. And you do have the option in the audio settings as well to prioritize stability over the audio quality if you are in a really busy area with lots of wireless interference. So audio smarts are great, but performance is one area where the Xperia 10 Mark III definitely looks rather weak compared to similarly priced rivals. So in here you've got a Snapdragon 690 backed by 6 gigs of RAM, and it is a real shame that you don't at least get the Snapdragon 700 series chipset, which many rivals from the likes of Xiaomi and Realme do serve up, or even like an 800 series, which you can get on the likes of the Poco F3 for considerably less cash than this Xperia. Overall, the performance is fine, but I definitely saw some slowdown when switching apps, and the camera always takes an absolute friggin' age to load. And gaming is certainly perfectly possible here on the Xperia 10 Mark III as long as you don't go too nuts. Obviously, the remote play shenanigans I mentioned earlier and popular Android titles like PubG and CoD Mobile do play on the slightly higher detail settings as well. I played a few games of Call of Duty in a row just to make sure all was good, and sure enough, no overheating or any of that kind of stuff. A nice judder-free, smooth experience, and the 120Hz touch sampling of that Xperia 10 Mark III's display keeps things competitive when you're up against these young whippersnappers online with their disgustingly swift reactions. And yeah, naturally you do get full 5G support here on the Xperia 10 Mark III as well, which is kind of what you would expect at a phone at this sort of price point midway through 2021. But undoubtedly one of the best bits of the Xperia 10 Mark III, and one that's probably actually helped along by that very energy efficient Snapdragon platform, is the battery life. You've got a 4500 mAh capacity cell crammed in here, and this provides stunningly strong returns. This blow can easily match and probably surpass actually the excellent OnePlus Nord CE 5G, which I only just reviewed. You'll get 2 full days of use out of this thing if you don't go too crazy, and even the longest, most intensive, crazy mental day, lots of gaming, lots of camera action, all that good stuff, you'll still have gas in the tank come the end of the day. Meanwhile, the 30-watt charging is reasonably nippy, and you've also got adaptive charging support on here as well, so you can leave it plugged in all night long and not stress about it. Now, last up for this Xperia 10 Mark III review is the camera tech, which I was very intrigued to test out. And while it is a triple lens setup on here, just like the flagship Xperia 1 Mark III, the hardware and software is seriously scaled back. The Xperia 10 Mark III's 12 megapixel primary sensor does a respectable job with outdoor shooting, helped along by that 10 frames per second burst shot mode for moving subjects. Most of these pics will come out blurry, but among the mix you'll generally find a couple that'll work fine. I definitely did see some overexposure when I was shooting against the sky and such forth however, so you will need to be careful with your angles, but colours are naturally reproduced and detail levels are definitely respectable. Indoors is where the primary shooter struggles. With ambient light you will get soft look in snaps, while anything that dares to move even a teeny little bit will often appear blurred or a bit fuzzy. But with a decent bit of natural light from a window or something, the results are much better. You get sharper detail and once again those natural looking colours shine through. You do have a small number of bonus modes and features to muck about with here on the Xperia 10 Mark III, nothing compared with the plethora, the overload of bonus bits you get stuffed onto most budget smartphones, and frankly, it's fine by me, keep it simple, happy days. The best effort here is a simple portrait mode which adds a bokeh style blur, and while this occasionally doesn't work quite as expected, it's usually worth a try, producing some good looking pics at times. You've also got a night mode which can help to brighten up any low light snaps, but only a smidge, while the autofocus still struggles, so you'll likely end up with a blurry photo anyway. That second lens slapped on the back is an 8-megapixel ultra-wide angle shooter, and like most of its ilk, this can't produce the same authentic colours as that primary sensor. But it is commendable that Sony, as usual, has added a 54mm telephoto lens to the back end of the Xperia 10 Mark III, and this can capture basic 8-megapixel photos with its 2x optical zoom. This does help you to get a wee bit closer to the action when needed, keeping your subject sharp. It's nothing revolutionary, but it is a rare enough feature at this price point, and it works as well as the primary sensor. You can also shoot home movies at up to 4K resolution in 16:9 or 21:9, and video performance is similar to the photo shenanigans, with an added bonus of a bit of lens pop action when shooting a living being, which can be quite distracting at times. And yes, in ambient light things are once again quite soft, but audio is well captured from all angles, and image stabilization can be a bit juddery even at full HD level, so walking and shooting is definitely best avoided. Sony's selfie cameras often feel like an afterthought, and the Xperia 10 Mark III's 8-megapixel front-facing snapper is certainly basic, again churning out fuzzy pics indoors and often blowing out the background in daylight. So overall, I gotta say, pretty disappointing camera results from the Xperia 10 Mark III, unfortunately. I would say if the optics are a priority for you, then definitely look at something like the Pixel 4a 5G instead. So that right there is my full Sony Xperia 10 Mark III review after using this as my full-time smartphone for just over a week, and I gotta say it is certainly a mixed bag. There's lots to love here. Media fans will be sated as always, whether you're into your bit of Netflix or just love kicking back with some tunes. The design is as lovable and pretty damn durable as usual as well, and the battery life is phenomenal. So it is a massive shame that the Xperia 10 Mark III is beaten hands down by a lot of rivals at this price point when it comes to the performance and also the camera. Anyway, that's what I think. Who am I? Just some baldy northern twat anyway. It'd definitely be great to hear what you guys think. If you've actually been using the Xperia 10 Mark III yourselves, please do leave your own mini review down in the comments below. And for all the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe, do that notifications bell, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.